They were going to Libya to mediate. And they were told by NATO to go back. African presidents on an African mission over African soil were ordered by NATO to go back. That NATO has not allowed them to land in Libya.
Welcome to Africa Reacts. I'm your host, Mikey Mushi, and this is a show where we go online and react to online videos that are concerning the African continent. Today's video is very special because we've been looking for this video for almost 10 years. And I don't know who's been hiding it, but it's a very important video, and it has to do with how Muammar Gaddafi got assassinated by NATO. Okay, this video has been hidden. It's been you can't find it anywhere. But suddenly, a YouTube channel called UG Files, suddenly it popped up, and everybody's going crazy about this video. Okay, so we will react to it, and afterwards we discuss it. Believe me when I say it's an important video, and we've been looking for this video for a very long time. You have to watch it with us. Okay. So before we continue, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, especially the liking part, because it's the best way that YouTube will share this video. Okay, it's for the algorithm. It will share it to as many people as you can. And for this video, it's really important that everybody watches it, especially right now, what is going on with NATO. Okay.
Now, when this problem of Libya started, the African Union, with our chairman, who is here now, this gentleman here, they formed a committee of a few of us, I think 6. I was one of them. The whole of the African Union gave that committee a mandate to look for a solution for the Libyan problem. Now, on one occasion, I didn't go that time. These excellencies, this one here, Jacob Zuma, and the others, I was not there, but my minister was among them. They entered a plane in Nouakchott in his place. They were going to Libya to mediate. And they were told by NATO to go back. Yes. Said, you go back. Yes, he's here. If I'm telling you lies, I'm not the one who invited him, you're the one who invited him. African presidents on an African mission over African soil were ordered by NATO to go back. That NATO has not allowed them to land in Libya. Now, we call this in Swahili, dharau, contempt. This is contempt. So now you can weigh yourselves now. Your presidents were ordered by NATO. 6 of them, not one. If it was only 7, maybe you could say. Six excellencies, African excellencies, were ordered, go back. Over Africa. Now, these fellows didn't listen to us. They continued. They killed Gaddafi. Now Libya is in tatters. Up to today. And the problem did not only end in Libya, it went into Mali, it has gone now into Chad. The whole area is in flames. Yes. So now you see where you are. You were weak. Because of your weakness, you are colonized. Fortunately, we survived. And by a combination of factors, we got our freedom again. But we did not use our freedom to make ourselves stronger. We remained where we were. And now, the former colonies are coming back to continue where they had left off.
So there we have it. Before we get into the reaction, first, I'd like to give a big shout out to UG Files. I don't know, man, how you got this footage, because we've been trying to get this footage for a very long time. There are forces at play that have been trying to suppress this speech by Museveni during his Pan-African Parliament speech in 2014, and we have it. And you've heard for yourself why they don't want anybody to hear this speech. Okay, so let's get into the reaction. I have to say very little because Uganda's president just says it. There were 6 African presidents. They went in to try to stop the violence, the protests that were happening in Libya, so that they could diplomatically solve the issue. But NATO wanted something else. NATO wanted to assassinate Muammar Gaddafi, right? Libya's president, right? Because of personal things they had to do with him. It was more of a power play, right? Gaddafi has been a thorn in their back for a very long time, and it was their only chance. So Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, with the help of NATO, surpassed UN's authority, entered Libya illegally, started bombing the people of Libya illegally, and eventually they got what they wanted. They used the people of Libya to kill Muammar Gaddafi the same way NATO is using the people of Ukraine to kill Russians, and Russians to kill Ukrainians, right? NATO is at play, right? They are the puppet masters. They're using other people's lives. Like the infamous, this warmongering US Senator Lindsey Graham said, "We will fight Russia till the last Ukrainian," right? Think about it. And also, he was also quoted saying, US donations to Ukraine is the best money the United States has ever used to kill Russians, right? Best money for killing Russians, right? So you can see what NATO's goal is. NATO uses other people to achieve their goals. These proxy wars all over the world, they all have its agenda. So Libya got destroyed. 6 African presidents were told like children, "Hey, boys, sit down. What are you doing in Africa? What do you think you are in Africa?" 6 African presidents coming to help an African conflict. What are you, crazy, right? So they were told, sit down. There's nothing you're doing. And they listened, because Africa doesn't have an answer to NATO right now. Russia has an answer to NATO, nuclear weapons, power. China has an answer to NATO, nuclear powers, power, economic might, right? So NATO fears those people. That's why it's doing what it's doing right now. But for Africa, we are still puppets to them. As the Ugandan president said in his speech, Africa gained independence. We were happy being free. We forgot to make ourselves powerful. Like, think about it. Like, we've had so many years to make ourselves strong so that we're not colonized again. Because whatever he's saying is happening. That speech was in 2014. Right now, it's almost 10 years. It's almost 2024. And right now, Libya is still in tatters, right? All the Mediterranean immigration problems, all the Mediterranean drownings, recently 700 migrants drowned in the Mediterranean. All this is because of the destruction of Libya, all the terrorism, insurgency problems in the Sahel that you see, UN peacekeepers coming, you see the French military coming into the continent. It's all because of the destruction of Libya. Libya was among the strongest economic African countries, right? It was among the top 5. So it was either Libya, South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, like the big boys, right? So when that power was taken, the whole region collapsed, right? The whole migrants started easily flowing through these people, these criminals, smugglers, right? The smugglers started bringing in people. The slavery started coming up again in Libya, right? So all this was just that NATO wanted to destroy one man, and they destroyed a continent in the process. And I guess it's par for the course for them, right? For them, it's the betterment of the West. They don't care about Africa. They don't care about Asia. They don't care about Europe, right? It's just the NATO partners and them. So Again, please, we will put the instructions of how you can watch this full video in a UG Files YouTube channel. Big up, man, for getting this video. It's important. It's split up in 2 points. We'll all put them in the descriptions below, right? Yeah, so I urge you, listen to this speech. Listen to what this guy is saying, right? He's not the most popular African president, but just listen to what he's saying. He said this almost 10 years ago. And look at Libya right now, right? Civil war, death. Almost 1 million people have died so far from all the civil war, from all the unrest, from all the migrants dying on the Mediterranean, all the slave trade and violence happening in Libya. Almost, I'm sure, 1 million people right now have died just because of NATO. NATO is doing the same thing in Ukraine, right? So for now, because it's a European thing, we'll let NATO do NATO, right? But for now, Africa, we need a solution on how to handle NATO, how to stand up to NATO. How can you do it? What power do we have, right? We're so happy that we got freedom. We forgot to make ourselves powerful. We forgot to make ourselves strong, right? So I'll leave it up to you guys. Let's discuss below if you have any suggestions on how Africa can rise and stand up to the likes of NATO, stand up to the likes of Russia, stand up to the likes of China, stand up to the likes of India, right? Become an economic power, become a military power that people respect and they don't interfere in our business. So that has been our Africa Reacts. Today's video is very special, so please make sure to watch this video. Make sure to share it with as many people as you want, because there are people who really don't want you to see this video. And we've brought you here. We will try to share it in all our other platforms just in case it's taken down or it's taken down from UG Files. You know, you never know who controls these platforms, okay? So this has been Mikey Mushi from Tonacheki. Please, before I go, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit on notification bell. It helps us share this video to friends and family and share the message of Africa, okay? And always remember, Africa is watching.
Here is your latest Africa news. Ethiopia takes bold leap, aims to join BRICS economic bloc. In a shocking move, Ethiopia, known for its rapid economic growth, has set its sights on joining influential Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, BRICS economic bloc. Joining the ranks of Egypt and Algeria, Ethiopia seeks to secure its national interests by becoming a member of this prestigious new alliance. As the latest report in the East African reveals, Ethiopia's Foreign Affairs Ministry sees joining global institutions like BRICS as a pivotal step towards advancing its national agenda. Having played an instrumental role as a founding member of esteemed organizations such as the African Union, AU, and the United Nations, UN, Ethiopia recognizes the importance of aligning itself with influential blocs like BRICS. Ethiopia, much like Egypt, has grappled with foreign exchange shortages, witnessing a significant disparity between its official and parallel market exchange rates against the mighty US dollar, reaching an unprecedented high. To address this issue, the National Bank of Ethiopia, NBE, has imposed limitations on the amount of US dollars that residents can carry outside the country. However, Ethiopia's decision to join BRICS comes at a pivotal moment when several African nations are seeking to reduce the dominance of the US dollar in intracontinental trade. By becoming a member of BRICS, Ethiopia aims to lessen its reliance on the greenback, particularly with BRICS planning to launch an alternative reserve currency. Ethiopia has recently found itself entangled in a tumultuous relationship with the West, grappling with significant challenges such as sanctions and undue interference from influential powers like the United States and Europe. In a recent blow, Ethiopia faced the severe consequence of being terminated from the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, a program that grants African countries special trade privileges with the United States. This punitive action was taken as a result of Ethiopia's perceived non-compliant bid to join the BRICS economic bloc showcases its determination to break free from conventional norms and carve its own path on the global economic stage. With its booming economy and an eye towards securing its national interests, Ethiopia dares to dream big and take a leap into the future of international cooperation. As the nation embarks on this thrilling journey, all eyes will be on Ethiopia as it endeavors to shape its destiny within the esteemed BRICS alliance. Let us know in the comments below if you found this video informative. Please show your support by liking and sharing this video for the YouTube algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to receive updates on our latest videos. And always remember, Africa is watching.
It was not named Afrobeats. It was called Afrobeat. Of genres in Africa. To be really sincere, for you to just call everything Afrobeats,
Yeah,
it kind of does a disservice to
the artist.
yeah.
Welcome to Candid Africa, truthful and unapologetic.
That Afro beats the name. Was that developed in Africa, or did the states put that on y'all? Oh, that's Afro beats.
let me explain it to you. Afrobeats is Fela Kuti.
Fela.
It's a legend called Fela Kuti. That's his
Your grandfather managed him.
yeah.
Mhm.
And that's Afrobeat. You understand? Now, years went by, and Nigerian musicians started, started dropping music that was becoming something.
Yeah,
So naturally, a name they needed to call it something to be able to
identify with.
yes, you understand. And somehow they just said Afrobeat and added an S. I don't know how. I don't know what sense even that made, but that's what happened. You understand? And somewhere along the line, all the music that comes from Africa now, they just write Afrobeats.
So, but this is what I'm asking you. The name was originated, the Afro beats.
It was not named Afrobeats. It was called Afrobeat.
Beat.
And that was only Fela.
So who
that
put
did
the
that.
S on it? Was it the states?
I have no idea.
Yeah, the
maybe
States probably
it's
did that
the
shit.
UK or maybe it's I don't know who, but somebody
But
did.
it wasn't beats in Africa.
Yeah, it wasn't Afrobeats in
All right.
Africa.
Yeah.
You understand? We had High Life. We have Juju music. We have Fuji music. We have all types of music. We have South African Kwaito music. We have Amapiano now. We have all types of music, and we even have, to be real, we have real African hip hop, like real African, like
Yes.
So we have Afro pop. We have
Yeah.
all types of genres in Africa. So to be really sincere, for you to just call everything Afrobeats,
Yeah,
it kind of does a disservice to
the artist.
yeah,
Because you're putting everybody in one fucking
Yeah,
genre. You don't
because-
put Whitney Houston and Jay-Z in the same genre.
exactly. So for me, it's like when I started the Afrofusion thing, it's like my music was not the same as anything that was out. It's like everybody else's stuff kind of sounded the same, not to be, funny, but this is what it was. It was one kind of move, and for me, there was nothing that I could identify myself with. So I just said, you know what? I'll call it Afrofusion because it's a fusion of everything, really. And Afrobeat, the Afro-Africanness is the thing that covers it. That is the bottle that holds the whole drink. You understand what I mean? So for me, that's why I always make sure that everybody knows this is what I do. It's Afrofusion. You understand? So I mean, however you want to run with that is up to you. You know, so when you see me on Afrobeat charts and Afrobeat whatever, it's because, I mean, maybe Afrobeat is the big umbrella, and then there's all these subgenres.
Wow.
I don't know. I can't really tell you.
There we have it. Let us know if you liked or hated what you heard in the comments below. In this show, we do not give you our opinions. We want us to discuss below. That's the whole point of listening to a candid speech, not us imposing our opinions on you, but all of us discussing opinions. If you liked it or didn't like it, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It's the best way to show YouTube this is a good video, and you can share it to more like-minded people like you. So this has been Mikey Mushi from Tunacheki, and that has been your Candid Africa, truthful and unapologetic.
Here is your latest Africa news. Chinese Navy's 5-day Nigeria visit to West Africa put PLA ever closer to American waters. The arrival of the Chinese naval fleet in Nigeria comes amid speculation that the Gulf of Guinea could offer a base for Beijing. A naval fleet of the People's Liberation Army, PLA, led by the warship Nanning, arrived on Sunday in Nigeria for a rare visit by the Chinese military to Africa's Atlantic coast, where Beijing has long made efforts to grow its influence. The Chinese ambassador to Nigeria hailed the 5-day visit as a milestone in ties, and the Nigerian Navy expressed willingness to work with China to tackle maritime security threats and maintain stability in the Gulf of Guinea, the Chinese embassy said in a statement on Monday. The destroyer and an accompanying frigate, Sanya, along with a supply ship, Waishanhu, arrived off the port of Lagos, with the Nanning berthing for a port of call through Thursday, the Nigerian Navy said in a statement. Oil-rich West Africa is part of the Gulf of Guinea and is an important global exporter of crude. The Gulf of Guinea is described by the International Maritime Bureau as one of the world's most important shipping routes, which stretches from Angola to Senegal. There has been speculation the Gulf of Guinea could offer a base for China's military. Last year, American defense officials expressed concern that such a base, possibly in Equatorial Guinea, could threaten U.S. national security. The destroyer and an accompanying frigate, Sanya, along with a supply ship, Waishanhu, arrived off the port of Lagos, with the Nanning berthing for a port of call, the Nigerian Navy said in a statement. Oil-rich West Africa is part of the Gulf of Guinea and is an important global exporter of crude. In January, Nigeria opened a $1 billion Chinese-built deep-sea port in Lagos. State-owned China Harbor Engineering Co. and the Singapore-based Talarum Group have a joint 75% stake in the new Lekki deep-sea port, one of the region's biggest. Chinese ambassador to Nigeria Kui Jianchun called the project a game changer. Let us know in the comments below if you found this video informative. Please show your support by liking and sharing this video for the YouTube algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to receive updates on our latest videos. And always remember, Africa is watching.
Charity that supports migrants was accusing the Greek authorities of knowing about the boat being in distress for hours before going to its aid.
Compared to...
But we start with that huge search, the race to save 5 people who are on board a submersible.
Welcome to Tunacheki's Africa React. I'm your host, Mikey Mushi, and this is a show where we go online and react to viral videos concerning the African continent. Today we'll be reacting to how Western media cover the West versus how Western media covers Africa, right? So we will do a case study of the recent events that happened in the Mediterranean, where 700 migrants drowned in the Mediterranean, right? Despite help and being ignored by the Greek government when they were in need, compared to how 3 billionaires and 2 of their guests drowned on a recreational adventurous journey to go see the Titanic. We want to compare the two differences and see how the West values life, right? 700 people is useless compared to the 5 special Westerners and billionaires who drowned while going for an adventure, right? So we will react to the video. But before we react, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that YouTube can recommend these videos to more people like you.
The true scale of this disaster is not yet known, but it's clear it's extremely bad. More than 100 people were rescued, but survivors claim up to 700 people were on board the boat when it began to sink. And this was the vessel, packed in the deepest part of the Mediterranean Sea. No one seemingly wearing a life jacket. But as Greece's president visited the scene, a charity that supports migrants was accusing the Greek authorities of knowing about the boat being in distress for hours before going to its aid. The disaster has prompted more calls for a joint effort to reduce the number of crossings.
Compared to
But we start with that huge search, the race to save 5 people who are on board a submersible that has gone missing in the North Atlantic, close to the wreck of the Titanic. Earlier, the US Coast Guard said that the vessel may only have 40 hours of breathable air left for the 5 people on board. Well, ships and planes are scouring the ocean around 640 kilometres off the coast of Newfoundland in Canada. The search area is as large as the US state of Connecticut. Officials say an underwater search vessel has now been launched.
So that was the difference of coverage between the two stories. The Titanic submarine, that 5 people died, and the Mediterranean crisis, migrant crisis, that 700 people most likely died, almost like 100 children, 400 women, right? So you might ask, how do we know, Tunacheki, how do we know that Western media covered the Titanic submarine way more than the migrant drowning in the Mediterranean? Well, us personally, we use this tool called Ground News, right? Ground News is a website where it gives you unbiased perspectives, and then it also tells you, right, who's covering who. Which media is covering what? Is it right-wing leaning media? Is it a left-wing leaning media? Which stories are not being covered, right? How many media sources are covering the particular story? So we'll just give you an example. So this is from Ground News. So we look at the article where it's like presumed human remains recovered in the wreckage of the Titanic submersible. So the statistics for this story are for the past 1 week, 331 news media covered it. Left-leaning media houses that covered it were 79. Right-leaning media coverage that covered it were 42. Center media houses that covered it were 85, right? With a biased distribution of about 41%, right? So think about it. This news concerning only 5 dead people got 331 news media houses covering it, right? Compared to, like, we're just talking in the last week, right? This story still from Ground News, 441 migrants lost their lives in the Mediterranean, right? This story for this week only got 2 news media houses covering it, right? So, like, just compare the difference, right? Here, only 5 people died, but Western media wants you to focus just on the 5 people who died compared to the around 700 migrants who died. These 5 people were well-off people, millionaires going for an adventure. And an adventure implies danger. Those people who went to that submarine knew danger might happen, knew they even sent a waiver saying if anything happens, there's no legal what. You know, they knew it was something dangerous. And something dangerous happened in the adventure, which you know, everybody has sometimes a bad day. They died. The media houses covered it. Search and rescue all the way from Europe, right, came to rescue them, spent millions, tens of millions to rescue them. While in the Mediterranean story, unfortunately, an NGO reported that the Greece authorities knew that ship that was carrying the 700 migrants was in distress, right, as you saw in our reaction, right, and they ignored it. Can you believe it? The Greece people allegedly knew this ship was in trouble and they still let it capsize and people die, as compared to this other one where also reports said the US Navy knew those people died 30 minutes when they went down there, but they still spend all these efforts and all this money to cover it, right? So that's why we love personally using Ground News, our website, because it gives us the unbiased news. It gives us unfiltered news. It's a tool that lets you know what news you're consuming, what the media doesn't want you to know, who owns these media houses. And this is one of also our favorite features because it tells you know, it lets you know, is this media house owned by a billionaire? Is this media house owned by a left-wing owner? Is this media house owned by a right-leaning owner, right? And you know, every media house always has a caveat towards it, right? Towards the owner. They report things that only help the demographic that they are reporting towards, right? The good thing with Ground News is that they've got something called a feature called the blind spot, where it shows you, right, what's not being covered, right? So if African stories are maybe ignored, you can just go to Ground News and you would see what's not being covered, right? So we really thank Ground News for sponsoring this video, and we've been using their tool way before. And you guys have always asked us, hey, Tunacheki, how do we always know the right stories to cover? How are we always good at telling you what's going on in Africa? Yeah, simple, because we use Ground News, and you can simply go to the descriptions below to the link Ground News /Tunacheki and have a look by yourself, right? Start reading news with some thought, right? Just don't consume what's being bombarded to you, right? As you can see, just because like you see BBC, you see CNN, just don't consume. Like, think, where is the story coming from? What is the leaning of the story? What are the biases of those stories? Here's the problem. The video count for the migrant story that 700 people died coming from the coast of Libya to Greece, right? Doesn't even reach 10 million views. I counted as much as I could, right? But the story of the 3 billionaires with their guests, right? 5 people who died in the Titanic submarine reached a staggering more than 1 billion views. Just like you can imagine, as we've seen on Ground News, only 2 media houses are covering in the past 7 days. I've covered this story for the migrant in the Mediterranean that almost 700 people lost their lives. And right now, in the past week, 331 are still covering the Titanic submarine story. Yeah, like how sad it is that life is measured based on how rich you are and based on where you're from and based on your skin color. This is very important to me, how Africans consume media, how Africans stop just blindly watching BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, France 24, The Independent, Daily Mail, all those ones, right? Like, start being smart, and you would see the world in a very enlightened perspective. Okay, so this has been Mekimushi from Tunacheki. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It's the best thing you can do to share this video to friends and family. Yeah, and with that said, always remember, Africa is watching.
Welcome to Tunacheki, and a special welcome to the African History Series, a series where we look at the great men and women who paved the way for us today. In today's video, we will be looking at the life of the noble African man who rose from slavery to becoming a prominent military figure and nobleman in Russia. Before we continue, please take the time to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Abram Petrovich Hannibal was a fascinating figure who lived during the 18th century. Hannibal's early life was marked by hardship and adversity. He was born around 1696 in what is now modern-day Cameroon, then part of the African kingdom of Logona-Birni. At the age of 8, he was captured and sold into slavery to the Ottoman Empire. As an 8-year-old slave, he was taken to the court of Peter the Great. There he caught his attention as Peter the Great was impressed by his intelligence and potential. He then decided to negotiate his release and took him to Russia as a gift to his wife, Empress Catherine I. In Russia, Hannibal received an education and was exposed to various disciplines, including mathematics, engineering, and languages. He excelled academically and quickly gained favor in the Russian court. Unfortunately, in 1725, Peter the Great died, leaving the young black artillery lieutenant dependent upon the royal advisor, Prince Menshikov, who, due to his dislike of Hannibal, assigned him first to Siberia and later to the Chinese border, where his task was to measure the Great Wall. Hannibal's fortunes changed in 1741 when Empress Elizabeth took the throne, and Hannibal was allowed to officially return from his exile, although he had illegally returned in 1731. Although it had been Hannibal's wish to retire, Empress Elizabeth did not want to abandon him or his engineering skills. He was made military commander of the city of Reval, serving between 1743 and 1751, and by 1760 had been promoted to the rank of a full general, making him one of the highest-ranking individuals of African descent in the Russian Empire at that time. Hannibal's military career was marked by remarkable achievements. He participated in numerous military campaigns and played a crucial role in the Russian victory during the Great Northern War against Sweden. Beyond his military accomplishments, Hannibal also made significant contributions in the field of engineering. He designed and oversaw the construction of several important fortifications and infrastructure projects, including the Ladoga Canal, which connected the Volkhov River to Lake Ladoga. His engineering expertise greatly benefited Russia's military and economic development. In addition to his military and engineering endeavors, Hannibal pursued a career in diplomacy. He served as a trusted advisor to Empress Anna Ivanovna and helped negotiate peace treaties with neighboring countries. His diplomatic skills further solidified his reputation and influence within the Russian Empire. Hannibal's legacy extends beyond his own achievements. His great-grandson, Alexander Pushkin, is widely regarded as one of the greatest Russian poets and literary figures of all time. Pushkin celebrated Hannibal's life and accomplishments in his works, particularly in the novel in verse, The Moor of Peter the Great, Abram Petrovich. Hannibal's life stands as a testament to the triumph of talent, intellect, and determination over adversity. He overcame the hardships of slavery, rose to prominence in a foreign land, and left an enduring mark on Russian history and culture. His story serves as an inspiration and reminder of the richness and diversity of human experiences. What are your thoughts on this great man? Leave a comment below and let us know. Also, let us know who else you would like us to cover. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Be sure to watch our other videos that celebrate our Mama Africa. Until the next video, stay safe and remember, Africa is watching.
Here is your latest Africa news. The Parliament of Ghana has just passed its anti-gay bill this week, which is set to tighten laws against homosexual acts in the country. Ghana's 275 members of parliament unanimously passed the bill, known as the 2021 Promotion of Appropriate Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill. The bill is set to criminalize the promotion, advocacy, funding, and acts of homosexuality. It will also stiffen prison terms up to 10 years.
Who disagrees with the submission just made by the Honorable and the Apia Kubi that all the 275 are in support of the bill? Anybody who disagrees, be on your feet and I will recognize you.
The bill's main sponsor, legislator Sam Nartey George, said, "Homosexuality is not a human right in Ghana, but a lifestyle choice, a sexual preference. With this reasoning, legislators viewed preferences as not absolute, meaning they did not hesitate to pass a bill against it. Furthermore, George warned the U.S. not to interfere with plans to pass the bill into law, threatening to halt Ghana's business interests in the country. He said this in reference to the travel restrictions imposed upon Uganda following the signing of their own anti-gay law. Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin stated, LGBTQ plus practices are strongly abhorred and will not be allowed to take root in the country. He said, I am very clear in my mind that the Parliament of Ghana will pass this bill. I have gone through it, and I will confirm that the bill will be a reference point for many countries. It has gone through all the provisions of the Constitution, laws, and international obligations. All that is left now is for Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo to sign the bill into law. Let us know in the comments below if you found this video informative. Please show your support by liking and sharing this video for the YouTube algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to receive updates on our latest videos. And always remember, Africa is watching.
The European Union sees itself very much as an exporter of human rights and a defender of human rights.
Why can't you let me answer this?
I'm very interested in
Otherwise,
your answer.
you are going to ask and then answer yourself.
I'm very interested in your answer.
Welcome to Candid Africa, truthful and unapologetic.
Let me
President
say
Kagame,
something to that, because I think this kind of discussion, which has gone on for a very long time around, sounds a bit cynical in a sense. In fact, it's like the tragic situation of 1994 isn't considered even a violation of human rights. It has now gone into the background. Those who are responsible for it, those who are associated with it, are now talking about something else. According to them, the situation in Rwanda is that of human rights violation, even more than that tragic situation. I think that's what we are talking about. So,
well, just for example, there was
an
Amnesty International wrote a report in the lead up to the 2017 election that talks about opposition politicians, journalists, human rights defenders being jailed, physically attacked, even killed.
I think you're interested in
forced into exile or silence. I'm just interested in
I think you're
your
interested in
idea of that assessment of your
raising
country.
your views to the audience so that you influence them by
Well, the European Union sees itself very much as an exporter of human rights and a defender of human rights.
Why can't you let me answer this?
I'm very interested in
Otherwise,
your answer.
you are going to ask and then answer yourself.
I'm very interested in your answer. I'm giving you some context on why I'm asking.
You're asking and giving answer at the same time. So
Please tell me, what do you make of this assessment?
I think it's just ridiculous because there is nothing like human rights minus these things we are talking about. What we are talking about in terms of development. These are human rights. Development, schools, education, health, and food security. And, you know, when you see now, the level of poverty has decreased almost by 6. So these human beings with improved lives and participating in that themselves to improve their own lives gets lost in what the whole list you've been spelling out as if, you know, what is in Rwanda is really hell. In fact, forgetting the hell that we have gone through, that we stood against and sorted out when you were there just talking about more or less nonsense. Because
do you reject the accusations, for example, from
it's
Amnesty
rubbish,
International?
absolute rubbish.
You reject
Rwanda is completely different from what it was 25 years ago. In fact, maybe you need to be looking around in Europe. You are violating people's rights. When we have this problem of people being bundled and sent back to sink in the Mediterranean and so on, and so many people being mistreated in your own countries. Why don't you talk about your human rights and stop just offloading everything?
Well, this is a development conversation, so
no,
in the context of development.
You are not the one to determine what conversation or what points to raise in any conversation. We are asking questions, this is what I'm saying. You are asking questions and you are giving yourself answers.
Well, Commissioner Mimita, just in the context of development, how much is the European Union tracking on human rights? As I said, it's not explicitly one of the UN Sustainable Development Goals.
Yeah, one of the last 17th development goals is about peaceful societies, stable societies, which includes also the respect of all of human rights, of all of the democratic values, rules of law. So therefore, we really, as I tried to explain, we have this comprehensive approach where we would like to discuss, to talk to our partner countries on all levels of political dialogues. Yes, human rights, respect of human rights is part of this political dialogue, but our development cooperation is a part of our overall partnership with each and every country. So it should be taken together, and we are doing it together in a dialogue, in a conversation, in a very open and clear interlinkage between the two aspects of.
And you really need to stop this superiority complex nonsense about human rights. You think you are the only ones who respect human rights, or others it's about violating human rights. No, we've fought for human rights and freedoms of our people much better and more than anyone, including you people who keep talking about this nonsense. Where we have taken our country from and where it is now speaks for itself. The rest of the stories just comes from this complex. You know, these two worlds where there are people who know everything about human rights and all kinds of things, and another world where people don't know. But these are our human rights. It's not, when we respect the things we respect in our countries, it's not for you, it's not for anybody else, it's for ourselves.
Is it not
So
universal?
you don't sit there, yes, it is universal, but you don't sit there. If it is universal and you believe it, then you don't become the judge yourself. You don't start telling the others what to do, what they should not do, or that what they are doing is not to your satisfaction. Who are you?
Well, I'm not sure if we're talking about me personally.
Well, you are the one actually raising these questions. So I think you better interpret it properly so that it is well understood.
Okay.
I could see you asking questions in a manner that you want to influence the ones listening to us, but that's not correct.
Okay. I'm raising it once again in the context of the United Nations Development Goals.
No, United Nations is us. You see,
course.
United Nations is not something alien somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's actually us. We participate.
And the framework for this entire development.
And by the way, I had been leading the Millennium Development Goals before Sustainable Development Goals. I was the co-chair of that with other leaders and some of the leaders in Europe. So you don't turn around, it's like you want...
So you believe that there should be scrutiny on human rights in Europe, in Africa,
No,
in
I
all
believe
countries?
that you shouldn't be there belittling Africans or leaders of Africa who are trying
Oh, no,
to...
but the conversation about migration is a real conversation about human rights. So you believe that there are valid human rights concerns to be taken into account in this conversation?
Even in Europe, not in Africa.
Not in Africa?
In Europe. In Europe, not only in Africa.
Not, of course.
Yes.
There we have it. That has been our candid speech for today. Please feel free to give your opinions in the descriptions below. On this show, we don't tell you how to think or manipulate you. Everybody is open to air the opinion, what you think about the speech. Did you love it? Did you like it? Do you disagree with it? Do you agree with it? Please let us know in the comments below. That's important. Discussing these issues is very important. So now with that said, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Share this video with friends and family. It's the best way for YouTube to spread this video, okay? So it's been me, Mikey Mushi from Tunacheki. And always remember, Africa is watching. So with that said, thank you for everybody who tuned in. We appreciate you guys. As always, please share this video after it finishes to friends and family. Please like this video. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. That's how YouTube knows it's a good video and it will keep recommending it to more people, spreading our message, okay? So we really appreciate you guys. And as always, it's been me, Mikey Mushi from Tunacheki, and Africa is watching. Bye, guys.